Good morning. Hey tribe, Jade Renee Banks here. Just making sure that that's live. Okay. Oh yeah, looks like we're good. Just see, oh, I can see somebody's jumping on now. Hello, please let me know if you're here. Please comment so that I know that you're here. And also, if somebody could comment just to let me know if you can hear me okay. I decided to come outside on the balcony for today's live. Yeah, so I promised some yoga poses just to help with... Oh, hi Jill. Can you let me know if you can hear me okay, Jill? That'd be great. Just comment for me, please. And if anybody else is here, please say hello. Please comment. So yeah, what I was feeling today, so I was already going to jump on and just offer up a few different yoga poses that can help. Good morning. Okay, great, Jill. So I was talking the other day about moving through the different stages of the grief cycle. I can hear you. Beautiful. Thanks, Jill. So yeah, we were talking about the different stages of the grief cycle and the different, emotions and feelings and things that can come up, and how to self-care and support yourself during this time. And if you're, falling into that fear and stress, or perhaps anxiety or even overwhelm, like what things you can do to help calm your energy, to help ground your energy, and come back to your center and come back to yourself. So yeah, I wanted to share some yoga poses that I find really grounding and nurturing today. And also a little bit of breath work as well. And then the message or the energy that I was feeling this morning was really around, how to ground your energy. And a lot of us might be feeling quite ungrounded at the moment with all the change that's happening. Our usual routines and structures, being at home a lot more, not at our jobs, and all the other changes that are happening in our lives at the moment can make us feel quite ungrounded, or we can, as a part of a stress response, or when we're in that fear, we often do become quite ungrounded, and that's when we start to get into those states of stress and fear and panic and anxiety, and moving into that survival mode, or those survival instincts of fight or flight or freeze in some cases. And this is all really related to our base chakra. I mean, everything that's going on is, but our base chakra is our grounding, our anchor. It is physicality, it's our physical body, it's our physical experience. It's also things like our job, money, career, our home, our tribe, our community, our sense of belonging. So all of those themes that are being affected right now. And our base chakra is, so we either feel unsafe or ungrounded, or in balance in our base chakra, we feel safe and secure and grounded. We have a sense of belonging, a sense of a place and a purpose in the world. So our base chakra is also really connected to our life purpose and our purpose. And you know, that might be something that's coming up for some of us, as we have more time on our hands, where not doing our usual things that we would be doing out in the world. It can really bring us back to basics and simplicity, and really bring us to reflect on those things that are really important in our lives, or the things that give our lives meaning and purpose. And maybe we're having a shift in perspective around that, or a shift in values around that at the moment. So all of that, it can be a little ungrounding, a little destabilizing, until we kind of, you know, find our way with it again. So how can we take care of ourselves for now? How can we ground our energy, calm our energy, clear our energy, until some of these things start to settle down, until we start to find our way again within ourselves and back out in the world? So I wanted to offer up some simple breathing techniques and some nice grounding yoga poses as well. I can see a few of you have jumped on. I'll just check those comments quickly before I start. The picture's slightly fuzzy, but the sound's perfect. Okay, thanks, Jill. Hopefully in the replay the picture will be okay. And yeah, it's okay if you can't see me too clearly. As long as you can hear me, that's probably the most important. Thanks for that feedback, Jill. Lovely to have you here. And I see Susanna's here, and Connor, hello. So we're going to start with some breathing. So firstly, finding a nice comfortable position to sit in. So it might be sitting on your heels with your knees bent. It might be with the legs crossed. And you might even like a prop beneath your sit bones. So I've got a block here, but you can use a little cushion or even a thick book, something just to prop the sit bones up and to bring the hips up a little higher than the knees. Can be really supportive for some people, but you might be quite comfortable just sitting directly on the floor. And for our yoga poses, you don't need a yoga mat. You can just lay down a towel or a rug or a blanket or something, just for a little bit of cushioning, or if you're already on carpet, then that should be fine as well. So once you've found a nice comfortable seated position, just resting the palms face down on the legs or the knees. So feeling your sit bones beneath you, and imagine that you're grounding down, rooting down through the sit bones. So you might even imagine roots growing down from your sit bones into the earth, into the floor, really rooting you down, connecting you into the earth. So just taking a moment to imagine this, taking a moment to send your energy down into the earth. Maybe even taking your breath down into the earth. Even allowing your energy to drop down into the earth, to be received by the earth. And then start to lift up through the spine, so lengthening through the spine, lengthening through the neck, extending through the crown. So even imagine that there's a string lifting you up. So we're nice and grounded through our base, but we're lifting up through the body. So shoulders are gently relaxed down, chest is nice and open, lifting the heart, the sternum. Gently tucking the chin to keep the back of the neck elongated. So feeling that nice tall spine and nice grounded base. Relaxed shoulders, relaxed arms. Palms facing down, that's in a grounding gesture. If we have the palms facing up, it's more in an uplifting gesture. So we're focusing on grounding today, so we'll place the palms facing down. So just closing down the eyes now, taking the awareness inwards. Bringing your awareness to your breath. And just noticing the breath to start with. Noticing if your breath is short and perhaps shallow, so up in the chest. Or maybe your inhales and exhales are a little bit longer and you're feeling them down in your belly. Just noticing to start with, just bringing awareness to the breath to start with. Noticing the inhale and the exhale. And then starting to deepen the breath, so drinking in the breath, breathing deep into the lower belly, feeling that expand. Pausing at the top of the inhale and then nice long exhale out. You might even like to place your hand on your belly, pressing the belly in, emptying the breath. Breathing in, expanding the belly. And exhaling out. Emptying the breath. So we'll take a few breath cycles here, just these deep belly breaths, feeling the belly expanding on the inhale and then deflating on the exhale, completely emptying out. So you can breathe in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. Beautiful work. So those deep belly breaths can be a really nice one just to bring you back to the body, bring you back to yourself. You might even like to place a hand on the heart, hand on the belly, just connecting in. Just checking in with how you're feeling, how your energy is, how your mind is. How your physical body is. Is it feeling a little tense or a little tight? A little constricted? Is it starting to relax and soften a little bit more with the deeper breaths? So another breath or breathing technique that we can use when we want to slow down, calm our energy down and calm our nervous system down is doing a breath ratio where we're doing an exhale that's twice as long as the inhale. So for example, we might inhale to the count of 3 and then exhale to the count of 6. And just depending on your breath capacity, your lung capacity, and whether or not you're used to doing breath work or not, the count might be different for you. So if you're fairly new to breath work, starting maybe with an inhale of 2, exhale of 4, or inhale of 3, exhale of 6, or if you're a little bit more seasoned to breath work, it might be an inhale of 4 and an exhale of 8. So just finding where you're at the moment, and wherever it is, it's okay. The most important thing is that the exhale is longer than the inhale. So we'll just start with an inhale to the count of 3 and an exhale to the count of 6. So, and you can do this through the nose, the inhale and the exhale. If you've got any sinus issues or blockages, you might want to breathe through the mouth. That's totally okay. Or you can inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. So just find whatever's most comfortable for you to start with. So inhaling to the count of 3, 2, 1. And exhaling to the count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if that's a little long for you, changing to the 2 and 4. So I'll just keep guiding you through that. So inhaling 3, 2, 1. And exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 3, 2, 1. And exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 3, 2, 1. And exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just letting go of control of your breath now, just returning to your natural inflow and outflow. Just noticing how you're feeling now, how your energy is, how your mind is, how your body feels. So that's just a couple of simple breathing techniques that you can use to help ground, to help calm any anxiety or overwhelm, and even to clear your energy, clear your field, and just come back to yourself. Just check the comments before I move on. Okay, beautiful. To some yoga poses. So one of my very favorite yoga poses is child's pose. And a lot of you might have already heard of this one or even practiced this one. And I usually have a yoga mat laid out somewhere in the house. So it's nice if you've got a space set up in the house somewhere, particularly because we're at home so much more at the moment, where you can come and just take a few moments to breathe, to sit in stillness, to meditate, or do a couple of yoga poses. So, but yeah, otherwise if you don't have a space set up, that's okay as well, but it can be nice. So during the day, because I've already got a yoga mat laid out somewhere, I might just get on the yoga mat and do child's pose for a few breaths. And you can use those breathing techniques that I've just shown you in your yoga poses as well, so you can combine the two. So with our child's pose, we come over onto all fours. And with child's pose, you can keep the knees together, or you can take the knees wide out to the edges of your mat, bringing the big toes together. And then we sit the sit bones onto the heels. So sit back and extending the arms out in front with the palms facing down, and then bringing the brow to the earth. So So resting here. The other option is if you've got your knees together, you can lay the belly down onto the thighs, bringing the arms around beside the body with the palms facing up, and then bringing the brow to earth. And just releasing through the shoulders, releasing through the lower back, releasing through the back of the heart. This also helps us to really, particularly the wide-kneed child pose, really helps us to access our hips where we can store a lot of emotion and a lot of stuck energy. So I sometimes like to imagine that I'm breathing all the way down into my hips. So I encourage you to take child's pose now if you can, and just get an idea of what that feels like. Just feeling your brow against the earth. So this can be really grounding for the mind, and I like to imagine that all the thoughts are pouring out of my mind, all that energy in my mind is pouring out through my brow into the earth and being received by the earth. So completely emptying the mind. And surrendering it to the earth. This pose is really grounding because we're nice and close to the ground. We're bowing down to the earth, connecting into the earth's energy, receiving that through our heart, receiving that through our body. And it's also got that real nurturing energy as well. So being child's pose, it says it all in the name. It's really nurturing to that inner child part of ourselves that might be feeling a little unsafe, a little scared at the moment. So you can stay in child's pose as long as is comfortable for you. So that might be a couple of minutes, that might be 5 minutes, that might even be 7 up to 10 minutes. And just be focusing on the breath, breathing into the body, perhaps breathing into any parts of the body that feel tense or that you're holding, like you can feel yourself holding tension or holding on. And just practice scanning through the body and breathing into any areas of tension, any areas of tightness, breathing into that space. And then on the exhale, imagine that you're releasing that tension, that you're letting it go, that you're surrendering it to the earth. As I mentioned, you can imagine that your mind's emptying out. You can imagine that your heart's connecting with the earth. And I might share another pose for grounding the heart energy and that real, if we're feeling quite emotional and overwhelmed or heavy in the heart or constricted in the heart space. So we might move on to that one now, and this is called our heart melting pose. So we return to all fours for this one. This time we're checking that the knees are directly beneath the hips. So tops of the feet are pressing into the mat. And then we're looking towards the top of the mat and we're walking our hands all the way up to the top of the mat and taking them a little wider than shoulder distance. So keeping the hips above the knees, we're then melting the chest towards the earth. So releasing through the shoulders, melting the heart down, melting the chest down. Now you can bring your brow to the earth once again, like our child's pose, or you can bring chin to the earth, just depending on what works for you. Also, if you've got a cushion, you can lay it across your mat to rest your chest on. So coming all the way down. So we're taking deep breaths here, releasing through the shoulders, palms are flat on the earth. So breathing here, we're opening through the heart, releasing through the shoulders, and also softening through the back door of the heart, so that space between the shoulder blades, so feeling that soften, feeling that open. Taking some nice deep breaths here. And just imagining that your heart is opening and that your heart energy is connecting in with the earth. And once again, pouring it all into the earth, surrendering it all into the earth, laying it all into the earth. Just allowing yourself to be held by the earth, really grounding your energy into the earth. And this might bring up some emotion to be released, and that's okay. If you need to have a bit of a cry or even a laugh, or maybe you need to cough or some sort of release, just allowing that energy to move through you. So that energy, emotion, that emotion. And just holding yourself in that space of gentleness and compassion, and being okay with where you're at. Being loving and caring towards yourself. So just staying in heart melting pose for as long as it's comfortable for you. It can be quite an intense pose on the shoulders. So as we're coming out of the pose, lifting up the chest, walking the hands back and sitting back onto the heels. So you might like to stay just in a kneeling position here, closing down the eyes and just noticing how the body's feeling, how your energy's feeling. Or you might even like to return to child's pose, resting in child's pose after the heart melting pose. Or you might even like to come and rest on the belly. So just listening to where the body wants to go after that, because it is quite a strong opening and strong release through the shoulders. So it's nice to have a little resting pose or rebound pose after those stronger postures. Hey Lucy, hey Janelle. Just checking in with who's watching now. So the next pose that I want to show you is a really lovely grounding resting pose, which is called Crocodile pose. So Jill, you might be quite familiar with this one. So this is where we're laying on our belly. So laying on my belly is another favorite one of mine for grounding my energy. And it's one that I do if I'm actually having trouble sleeping and feeling like my energy is quite open, maybe a bit erratic, or my mind's racing. So I'll just come and lay on my yoga mat on my belly. So tops of the feet are resting on the mat, belly's laying down. You might even like to just rock your hips from side to side to release through the lower back. And then you can create a little pillow with your hands, so resting one hand on top of the other, elbows out to the side, and once again resting the brow on the hands. So just trying this one out. This is one option. Taking some nice deep breaths here. You might even imagine that you're breathing the length of the body, so inhaling all the way up from the toes, all the way up to the head, and then exhaling back down through the body, through the soles of the feet. So inhaling up through the soles of the feet, the legs, the body, the head, and then exhaling, breathing all the way back down through the body, down through the soles of the feet. We're just allowing the energy of our belly to get nice and grounded here now, to have that earth connection. Some of us, when we're feeling quite physically ungrounded, can start to get digestive issues when we're feeling ungrounded. So this one can be a really nice one to ground through the digestive system, ground through the belly. Another way to take crocodile pose is to rest on the elbows and creating a little cradle for the chin. So we can just rest the chin in the hands, propped up on our elbows. So that's another option, and that gives a nice little back bend and opening through the heart, but we've still got the belly resting on the earth. And this you can do with eyes closed or eyes open. And once again, just connecting in with those deep belly breaths. And as you breathe deeply into the belly, feeling that nice massage of the belly against the earth. Another one that I quite like on the earth is laying on the belly and drawing one knee up to the side, so at a right angle, kind of like a gecko. And then you can bring resting your head, like resting on your cheek in the same direction, and just creating a bit of like cactus arms. So kind of like, yeah, it's sort of like a gecko pose, I guess. So that one can be really nurturing as well. So taking a few breaths here, so maybe 5 to 10 breaths on one side, and then switching it over to the opposite side. So that's another option, laying on the belly. That can be really grounding and nurturing to the body and to the digestive system. So one more that I wanted to share with you all was a pose that's a little bit stronger, but really a really good grounding pose, and that's Malasana pose. So it's a low squat. So this is one of my absolute favorites to ground my energy. It can be quite strong for some, so it might not be for you, but yeah, just another option. So we come up onto our feet, pointing the toes out at kind of like a 45-degree angle. So we want the feet nice and wide, wider than hip distance, with the toes pointing outwards, and just checking that the knees are pointing in the same direction as the toes. So that's just to protect the knee joints. So just checking in here. If this is quite strong for you, you might want a block or a book or a cushion to sit the sit bones on, and come up and resting the sit bones like this. So you might feel this in the outer hips, the groin, even through the heels and the back of the calves. And then we can bring the hands together at heart center and use the elbows to press out against the knees, to press out against the inside of the legs. So we're opening up through the legs, pressing into the hands, starting to really open up. It can be nice to rock a little from side to side here, just to release through the hips and the sit bones, bringing a bit of movement to the hip joints. And then coming back to a central position, imagine that you're relaxing, releasing the sit bones towards the earth. We keep pressing the elbows into the legs, pressing into our palms, and then lifting up through the heart, lengthening through the spine. So we're opening through the chest, lengthening through the spine, lengthening through the crown. But at the same time, releasing the sit bones down towards the earth. So we're really connecting the base chakra energy, opening up the base like a flower, opening up towards the earth and connecting or plugging into the earth energy. And keep drawing the legs in towards each other, so we're quite active through the legs, even though we're relaxing and releasing through the sit bones, through the glutes. Nice open heart, long spine, and then breathing deeply here. Imagine that you're breathing all the way down into the earth, down through the sit bones, down into the earth. And then inhaling that earth energy back up into the body. Exhaling the energy down into the earth. And then inhaling back up into the body. Beautiful. So you can bring the hands out in front, drawing the fingertips forward, getting a nice stretch through the arms here, perhaps releasing the head down, releasing through the spine. And then we'll take the hands behind, releasing the sit bones down, releasing the pose, just drawing the knees in together, and then giving yourself a great big hug. So wrapping the arms around the knees, chin to chest, maybe even coming up onto the tippy toes. So our cosmic egg, we're coming all the way in, drawing it all in. Giving yourself a great big hug. Perhaps even rocking a little from side to side. Nice deep breaths. And then releasing. So if you've been practicing those poses with me today, you might even like to take some rest on the back. So taking Shavasana, so that's our resting pose, where we lengthen out through the legs, laying the body down. So resting the spine down, allowing the legs to relax, the feet to relax out to the side, the arms to relax beside the body with the palms facing upwards, perhaps shrugging the shoulder blades down the back a little, and allowing the head to rest nice and heavy, closing down the eyes, softening through the front of the body, and feeling that earth support at the back of the body. Feeling the body nice and heavy and grounded, and the front of the body nice and soft and open, receiving. And once again, just noticing the breath, letting go of any control of the breath now. Just allowing it to return to its natural ebb and flow. And staying there for as long as you need to, just resting on the back, breathing, being held by the earth. That's a really nice one for grounding the energy too, is going outside and laying on the grass, laying on the earth, laying at the beach, and just laying there and allowing your energy to be recalibrated by the energy of the earth. So allowing it to return to the pulse of the earth, the rhythm of the earth, the rhythm of nature, and the breath of the earth. So it's like we're magnetizing or synchronizing our energy field, our breath, our physical body back to the rhythm of the earth. And so that can be a really beautiful way to ground as well. And simply being outside in nature can be really grounding and calming for our energy and for our nervous system. Hence why I chose to be outside today amongst the trees, the fresh air, the birds. There's so many butterflies flying around at the moment. It's really beautiful. The sunshine, gazing at the sky, the clouds. Just finding different ways to notice nature, to connect in with nature, to breathe with nature, to ground with nature. So using all the senses. And I'm sure there's a lot of us that are spending more time in our gardens at the moment, or taking walks outside in nature, which is really lovely. So thank you all for joining me, or even those who are watching the replay. I hope that was helpful for you. Just giving you a few more tools and resources to support you during this time, and during any time really. These are ones that I use for myself on a regular basis. So yeah, if you've got any questions or any comments or anything else that you would like me to share over the coming days or weeks, then please just pop it in a comment below, or let me know even how you're feeling after that. If you practiced it, I'd really love to know. I do have some spaces available in my coaching program. So I'm offering free discovery sessions if you'd like to have a chat about that and see if my programs are right fit for you. So what I might do is I might pop the link to my calendar in the comments below, or else you can just direct message me. I hope you all go on to have a beautiful, calm and grounded day. Much love to you all. Namaste.